Hey there, pirates! Welcome aboard the Anime No Me channel. Shanks is finally going to reveal his devil fruit, a fruit he has possessed since his very first appearance, but one you've never seen, and that didn't stop him from swimming and saving Luffy. Guys, let's start lighting the fuse of this theory with what we know about Shanks and his mysterious vibe since the dawn of the saga. I hope for your support to help our crew win, and to do so, you just need to click the thumbs up button, leave a like, and subscribe to the channel. By doing this, you will win an incredible devil fruit, so just comment which fruit you want. Shanks bursts into the story in Chapter 1, a lightning bolt of charisma in the East Blue, saving Luffy from a Sea King and leaving behind the Straw Hat as an inheritance. But here's the catch. He's carrying a stolen devil fruit, the Gomu Gomu no Mi, which Luffy eats by accident. That's no coincidence. Shanks knows its value, stealing it from a world government ship, as revealed later. He could have eaten the fruit to become a rubber god, but he didn't. Why? Because Shanks, once an apprentice in Roger's crew, inherited a deep lesson. Devil fruits are traps disguised as power. In that same first chapter, Shanks loses his arm laughing, showing that he values raw strength over cursed tricks. That choice echoes through Roger's crew, where no one had a devil fruit, confirmed in Chapter 1047, when Kaido, obsessed with legends, says that Roger conquered the world without a devil fruit, only with Haki and willpower. Shanks carries that legacy, connecting to fruits not to consume them, but to control them, knowing they weaken a pirate's true strength, a free spirit. Now, let's dive into the mystery of Roger's crew, where the absence of devil fruits shines brighter than their presence. In Chapter 967, during Odin's flashback, we see Roger's final journey to Laugh Tale, laughing hysterically upon discovering the One Piece. There, the crew is a band of titans without fruits. Roger leads with Conqueror's Haki that shakes islands, Rayleigh cuts mountains with his gaze, and no one depends on cursed powers. Why? Because Roger knew something about devil fruits, maybe something revealed in the Rio poneglyph that made them dangerous for those who sought true freedom. In Chapter 1047, Kaido confirms it while fighting Luffy. Roger didn't need a fruit to be king. That suggests fruits steal something essential, not just the ability to swim, but perhaps the purity of will itself. Shanks, as Roger's apprentice, absorbed that wisdom. In Chapter 434, when he meets Whitebeard, Shanks discusses Ace and Blackbeard, but never mentions fruits. He avoids the topic, as if he knows they're baits set by the world government to weaken powerful pirates. Let's link Shanks directly to the fruits through clues Oda scatters like breadcrumbs on a treasure map. In Chapter 1, Shanks steals the Gomu Gomu no Mi, but instead of eating it or giving it to an ally, he keeps it until Luffy accidentally eats it. Why? Because he knows the fruit is special, as revealed in Chapter 1044, when Zunesha declares that Luffy is Joy Boy, and the fruit is actually the Hito Hito no Mi, model Nika, the god of freedom. Shanks, with his sharp intuition, must have sensed that maybe from echoes of Roger's crew, who in Chapter 967 discovered world-shaking secrets at Laugh Tale. Roger laughs because he understands that fruits like Nika are tools of destiny, not meant for just anyone. Shanks avoids fruits in his own crew for that reason. They attract the government's attention, as seen in Chapter 906, where Imu discusses global threats and mythical fruits are hunted. Shanks' connection to fruits is that of a guardian. He knows they weaken Haki, as Kaido implies in Chapter 1047, preferring pure strength to conquer the seas. Let's sail through past arcs to sharpen this red-haired plot. In Chapter 434, Shanks warns Whitebeard about Blackbeard, who devours fruits like candy, suggesting the red-haired pirate sees that as a weakness. Whitebeard, who has no fruit, tacitly agrees. That echoes Roger, who in Chapter 967 reaches Laugh Tale without cursed powers, laughing at the irony of the world. Shanks inherits that philosophy, and his crew follows the example. Ben Beckman smokes and thinks. Yasop aims with human precision. Lucky Roo eats endlessly, but none of them take a bite of a fruit. In Chapter 1079, Shanks obliterates Kid with a single strike of Conqueror's Haki, proving that pure power is enough. He knows, as Roger did, that fruits are demons that steal freedom. Just as Vegapunk explains in Chapter 1069, fruits come from human desires but carry curses. Roger avoided them to preserve his free spirit, and Shanks does the same, connecting to fruits only to guide them to their destined users, like Luffy. Now, let's heat things up with a fiery twist. Shanks' connection might be prophetic. In Chapter 967, Roger discovers that the One Piece involves the D and Joy Boy. Perhaps even that fruits like Nika are keys to changing the world, but dangerous for those not destined. Knowing this, Shanks steals the fruit in Chapter 1 to deliver it to the future Joy Boy, recognizing Luffy's potential. That's why Roger's crew avoided fruits. They attract the sea, weaken swimmers, and maybe dilute Haki, as Kaido suggests in Chapter 1047, when he praises Roger for winning without them. Shanks avoids Fruits and his crew to maximize their collective haki, preparing for a confrontation with Imu, who in Chapter 906 controls everything. Connecting this to the government in Chapter 906, Imu discusses global threats, and mythical fruits like Luffy's are hunted. Shanks, stealing one, knows the risk, but does it anyway because he understands Roger's greater plan. Fruits are tools, not crutches. In Chapter 967, Roger's laughter is about irony. The king, without a fruit, conquers the treasure. Shanks carries that legacy, avoiding fruits, so his crew remains unbeatable in Haki, just as seen in Chapter 1079 against Kid. And now, folks, let's throw more fuel onto this red-haired fire and give the theory a spin. Because even though Shanks and Roger's crew avoid devil fruits like people avoid a cold shower, that doesn't mean Shanks himself doesn't have a secret trick up his sleeve, or rather, in his sword. Yes, I'm talking about the possibility that Shanks' legendary sword Griffin has eaten a devil fruit, just like the weapon of his brother, the mysterious Buggy, who in Chapter 1082 reveals a plan as big as his laughter. Let's season that idea with more manga chapters, keeping the flow sharp as a saber and the energy high, because the new world dances to the rhythm of the Conqueror's Haki, and Shanks may be hiding an explosive swigret within his blade. To understand this twist, we need to dive into Shanks' relationship with his sword, Griffin, and how it might be the exception to Roger's crew's rule. In Chapter 434, when Shanks faces Whitebeard, Griffin shines in his hand, blocking blows with an almost living presence. The sword is more than metal. It's an extension of the red-haired man himself, infused with his Conqueror's Haki, as seen in Chapter 1079, when he destroys Kid with a single strike. Divine departure, echoing Roger's style. But what if Griffin has something more? In Chapter 803, we learn that swords can eat devil fruits, like Mihawk's Yoru or Spandam's Funkfried, which becomes an elephant. Buggy, Shanks' brother from Roger's crew, takes it a step further. In Chapter 1082, he reveals ambitions of a Yonko and cunning no one expected. Buggy doesn't have a fruit-imbued weapon, but his Bara Bara no Mi makes him a fragmented clown. What if Shanks, following a parallel logic, gave a fruit to Griffin to amplify its power, but kept it secret to honor Roger's philosophy while playing a far greater game? The idea that Griffin might have a devil fruit doesn't contradict Roger's aversion to fruits, because Shanks operates on a different level. In Chapter 967, Roger laughs at Laugh-Tale, knowing that the One Piece requires a balance between destiny and freedom. Shanks, as the guardian of that legacy, may have chosen to give a fruit to his sword, not his body, to maintain the purity of his will while using cursed power as a tool. In Chapter 1044, the Gomu Gomu no Mi is revealed to be the Hito Hito no Mi, model Nika, proving that mythical fruits hold secrets even the government fears. Shanks, who steals that fruit in Chapter 1, knows this. And what if Griffin has eaten a mythical zone, like a dragon or a griffin? Check the sword's name, guys, giving life to the blade. That could explain why Shanks in Chapter 1079 cuts through the battlefield with a force that seems supernatural, as if Griffin roars with Haki. And something more. Looking at other moments in Chapter 434, Griffin glows with an aura that intimidates even Whitebeard, suggesting something beyond Haki. In Chapter 1079, the strike against Kid is so devastating, it seems as if the sword has a will of its own, responding to Shanks' Haki with an internal roar. In Chapter 1069, Vegapunk explains that fruits are crystallized human desires, but Zoans have their own will. And what if Griffin, with a Zoan, is a living partner for Shanks, like Spandam's weapon in Chapter 379? That doesn't break Roger's rule, because his crew avoided eating fruits themselves, not using them in weapons. Shanks, clever as ever, might have found a loophole. Griffin eats the fruit, and he stays pure, swimming the seas and dominating with Haki. Speculating with a red-haired spark, imagine Griffin has the Heavy no Mi model Griffin, a mythical Zoan that gives wings and claws to the sword. In Chapter 1126, in Elbaf, Shanks faces giants, and Griffin shines with an aura that seems alive, cutting trees as if they were paper. That would be perfect against Imu, who in Chapter 1085 uses demonic powers. The transformed sword could fly like a griffin, attacking with Haki and mythical fire, while Shanks keeps his soul free. Buggy, in Chapter 1082, dreams big. Shanks, wiser, is already executing, using Griffin as a hidden ace. Connecting this to the One Piece, in Chapter 967, Roger discovers that the treasure involves the D in Joy Boy. Shanks, knowing this, uses Griffin as a strategic weapon to protect Luffy, as in Chapter 580 without eating any fruits himself. In Chapter 1044, he sees Luffy as Nika and knows that his fruit is destiny. Griffin, with a fruit of its own, could be the shield that ensures Joy Boy's victory. That was today's content. We hope you liked it and want to share your opinion on the subject. Don't forget to share the video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and stay amazing.